Now, the next thing that we are going to learn here is the concept of prime and composite numbers. Have you ever heard it before, children? What do you mean by a prime number? What is a prime number? A prime number is something which has having only two factors. Okay, that is 1 and the number itself. Okay, so those numbers which have only two factors, that is 1 and the number itself, they are called as my prime numbers. For example, can we find out how many prime numbers are there? The prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, etc. So the list goes on. Okay. So what do you mean by that? The number 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, when the list go on, it means that if you take example of any these, okay, 2 will be only divided by 1 and 2. There are no common factor. Similarly for 3, it is 1 and 3. For 5, it will be 1 and 5. For 7, it will be 1 and 7. So in all these cases, if you see, there is no common factor with which you can divide this number. Even if you try dividing the number, there will be a remainder left. We have seen in the properties that when you try to divide a number, it should be exactly divisible. There should be no remainder left, right? Whereas if you try to divide any of these numbers with the other number, there will certainly be a remainder left. Okay, so these are called as my prime numbers, where you have only two factors, that is 1 and the number itself. Okay, now here children, if you notice, 2 is the only number which is even. The rest all are odd numbers, right? So we can say that 2 is the only even prime number. Okay, if you see the list, rest all are the odd numbers. So what do you mean by even numbers? What do you call it as even numbers? Those numbers which ends with 2, 4, 6, 8 and 0. So those numbers ending with 2, 4, 6, 8 and 0 and are exactly divisible by 2, they are called as my even numbers. Okay, and what do you call it as odd numbers? That is numbers ending with 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. Okay, and here they are not exactly divisible by 2. Okay, so those numbers which end with 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9 and the numbers which are not exactly divisible by 2, they are categorized as odd number. So if you see in the prime number, except for the value 2, the rest all are odd numbers. Clear? Now, the next thing that we will be learning here is the composite number. So what do you mean by composite number? So composite numbers are the numbers having two or more factors. Okay. So those numbers which have two or more factors are called as my composite numbers. So for example, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 18, 20, and the list goes on. Okay. So if you take 4, 4 can be divided. What are the possible factors? It is 1, 2, and 4. Okay. If you take the value of 6, it will be 1, 2, 3, and 6. If you take the value of 8, it will be 1, 2, 4, 8. If you take 9, it will be 1, 3, 9. Right. And if you take 10, it will be 1, 2, 5, 10. So in all the cases, children, if you see, the number of factors are more than 2. It is 2 or more. So whenever a number is having 2 or more factors, they are called as my composite numbers. So always composite numbers are more when compared to the prime numbers. So here we learn two concepts. The one is the prime number, the other one is the composite number. A prime number is something which has only two factors, that is 1 and the number itself. It cannot be divisible by any other number, and they are called as my prime number. 2 is the only even prime number, and the remaining all are odd prime numbers. The second concept that we learned was composite number, and a composite number is something which has two or more than two factors. Okay, and then we also learned that even numbers always ends with 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 and 0. Okay, and they are exactly divisible by 2, whereas odd numbers are something which ends with 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, and they are not divisible exactly by 2. Okay, so using these concepts, we are going to solve few questions based on factors and multiples.